Hey guys, I'm retired Navy SEAL sniper instructor Chris Sajnog and the founder of the New Rules of Marksmanship training system. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to find your dominant eye. Now let's go ahead and get started.
Joining me now is retired Navy SEAL sniper Chris Sajnog.
All right, so first off, what is your dominant eye and why do you need to know which one it is? Your dominant eye is the eye that your brain is going to use to detect minor differences from the two images that it receives from each eyeball. It's a small difference, right? About 2.5 inches apart, but there is a slight difference. So when it comes to making precise decisions where something is out in space in front of you, your brain is going to make a decision as to which eye to kind of trust a little more. So the reason this is important is because your brain is naturally going to have a tendency to want to use that eyeball. It's usually not the eye with the best eyesight because your non-dominant eye feels neglected and it feels like it needs to overwork. The eye with the weaker vision tends to be the dominant eye, but that's not always the case. This becomes critical when you want to shoot quickly and accurately, and when you bring your gun up, your dominant eye is where your gun is going to naturally be directed towards, so you need to know where that is. There's two tests that we can do to test your dominant eye, and they're both very simple. You can do either these static or moving. The first one is called the miles test. You're going to make a triangle with your hands and you're going to look through that and focus on a small item like a light switch or something very small. You want it to be something that you can't see through both your eyes. You don't want to go like this and look at something, and that's not going to be an effective test. In fact, a lot of people will come back and tell me, Chris, I don't have a dominant eye. I can see through both eyes just as effectively, but when they do the test, they end up coming back like this. Of course, that is not effective, okay? It needs to be a small item. For the static test, all you're gonna do is you put your hands up and pick that item, then you're gonna close an eye. So I just closed my left eye and I'm right eye dominant, so I can see what I'm looking at through that triangle. Now, if I do it again and I close my right eye, now I can no longer see the item that I was looking at. In fact, I'm looking off now just a little bit to the right of where that item is. You can do the moving test. So you're going to do the exact same thing, make a small shape on a small item and look through it, and just keep bringing your hands back until it's naturally going to move towards your dominant eye. And that's how you do it. So that is the miles test. The next test I'm going to talk about is the porta test. And the porta test is a lot like the miles test. The only difference is instead of making a shape with your hands, you're just going to point at something. So just take your index finger and point at an object off in the distance, and you're going to point directly at it. And then again, close one eye. So I'm closing my left eye. I'm pointing directly at the item I was looking at. And if now I close my right eye, which is my dominant eye, now my finger is pointing off to the right of that. So I know that my right eye is dominant. Now again, we can do this moving test where we point at the item and then just slowly bring your finger back, pointing at that item. And as you do that, you will be pointing at your dominant eye. Now with eye dominance, there are truly some people that don't have a dominant eye. That is possible, but it's a very small minority of people. So don't think that just because you did the test maybe improperly that you don't have a dominant eye. And then the next thing that I want you to know is your dominance can change depending on what you're doing with your hands. So say for instance, you're holding something in your hands, such as a firearm. That hand is sending information to your brain to tell it there is something else in space that it needs to put into the equation. So it might change your dominance a little bit. And if you use two hands with a rifle or a carbine, that can change it as well. Now, some other things that can change it are lighting. So if you are in a low light situation, sometimes that can change your eye dominance, but one of the biggest things that changes most people, if it is going to change, is distance. Say if you're right eye dominant, you're using your right eye, but then you go back to like 50 or 100 yards and you go to shoot and you find it very hard to focus. If you're finding something like that is happening, do another dominance check at that distance, okay? So just keep testing. This shouldn't be something that you only test one time and then you're done with it. Your eye dominance can definitely change. So the last thing I want to talk about is where this really becomes critical, and that is learning to shoot with both of your eyes open. Because when you're shooting with both of your eyes open, you are going to see two pictures because you have two eyeballs. And this can be confusing for a lot of people at first, and they want to know, how do I get rid of that second image that they don't want to see from their non-dominant eye? Well, you don't want to get rid of that image. What you need to do is train your eyes and train your brain to decide which image that it's going to use for, say, your front sight post. And if you do this, if you train it enough, it usually takes just about a week of training to be able to do that. You will be able to shoot with both eyes open. Now, this is going to allow you to be able to see your battle space or see the competition area. You'll be able to move better. It's just a lot easier to shoot with both eyes open. So go ahead and check and use these tests to find your dominant eye. And until next time, keep paving your path to perfection. Hey, I really hope you enjoyed watching that video. And if you did, I put together my top 3 videos for learning to shoot at home, and I want to give those to you absolutely free. Now, all you have to do is click the iCard that just popped up, or you can go to chrissajnog.com/free videos, and I will send you not only those top 3 videos that I have for learning to shoot at home, but I will also send you a free PDF copy of my New Rules of Marksmanship manifesto. Click the card, go to chrissajnog.com/free videos so I can send you those videos. Keep paving your path to perfection, guys.